Greetings and very welcome back to my humble neck of the YouTube woods. So today we are attempting, obviously I'm trying to sort out the audio with my crude little setup I have here. But we are attempting the Shan Raza Cup, this month's challenge, which is Super Double Dragon / Return of Double Dragon. So either of those games will do. And it's a high score, one life affair, basically. So get as far as you can with one life, and whatever your high score is your attempt. So hopefully lots of people will get involved in it, because it is a fun game overall. Quite difficult. This run that you're seeing now, I decided what to do would be I'd do an attempt on both versions of the game. Watch out for this guy with the knife, do a bit of dodging. But yeah, as you can see, we're in a real Streets of Rage-esque Las Vegas Strip looking level. Lots of neon action, fighting in the streets. So yeah, this is an interesting game. I'm not a beat 'em up specialist. I like going up top, trying to get the high ground, eh? Always take the high ground. We are... The first bit of advice there, do you see that guy down there with the nunchucks? Always pick up the nunchucks when possible, because you're basically invincible with the nunchucks, guys. They're just an amazing weapon, and they just bash absolutely everything. That Blanca looking fella is getting smashed up. The Karate Kid looking chap, although he looks like a fairly beefed up, doesn't he? Kind of Hulkamania version of the Karate Kid. And he's down. Into the next segment. Into the casino we go. Yeah, I don't know why that guy there reminds me of like a cross of Triple H and Blanca, and the other fella's a bit Karate Kid-esque. I think I take a bit of a beating here between these two, yeah. Ooh. But yeah, I found that this one, Super Double Dragon, there is a little bit of an exploit when you have a weapon as well, that if you hit an enemy once and walk away from them, and then go back to them after they've recovered from their little daze thing, they just won't die, which you can just keep racking up points. But of course that's not very honourable play, so we'd never do something like that. Bit of a point exploit, you know. Which is, he's knifing his friend, as you do. This guy is like a twin of Billy, I believe our character's name is Billy. I've never played all the blocking out of this chap. He's dead. Do a little bit of a double dragon dance, I think. No, we just swing away. This elevator part, I found was really quite difficult in Super Double Dragon. These guys were harder than bosses, honestly. So I held down on my power meter a little bit too much, and that's why I'm just swinging like crazy. But the health pool of these guys is unreal. You just, when you see it, you just keep getting back up. So I died a lot, just in the first level alone. And granted, I am, you know, I'm not even rusty, I'm just a complete novice to the Double Dragon series, but I'm actually a little bit of a novice, truth be told, to beat 'em ups in general. As in, I've only played Streets of Rage 1, Streets of Rage 2, Streets of Rage 4, didn't play Streets of Rage 3, and Golden Axe. So I've only really played the real heavy hitters, you know. Did you see how long it took to beat those two guys down? And now these chaps are pretty much, you know, as difficult. They have more health and are more dangerous than the boss. For me, anyway. But nonetheless, this is a fun game. I enjoy trying to navigate the enemies and manage the battle. You know, I'm all about the punches in this game. A bit of a dodge brawler. I do appreciate... Oh, just knifed his friend, as you do. I do appreciate it. Oh, when you get hit with weapons in this version, oh, wow. If you get hit by a knife, honestly, it takes half your health. Very unforgiving at times, you know. And the enemies are so interesting because, you know, sometimes they'll actually be quite handy and you'll take them down quite easily, but if they're in the mood, they can just wreck you. But yeah. So we're on the last segment of the first level now, and we're hoping to beat the first boss. And at this stage I really just wanted to complete the first level, and then I would have been happy with that score. Super Double Dragon wise, to be honest. So basically, to compensate for the difficulty, because there is differences between the two versions, you get more points for on Super Double Dragon. Now that may be just because the enemies have more of a health pool and whatnot, but you'll see. Look, I'm you know, into quite a high score at the moment. I'd never get anywhere near that score on Return of Double Dragon on the first level. So here's the first boss, and I don't know about you guys, but he reminds me of Sheamus from WWF or WWE. He's a Cabra lad, so he's only based literally down the road from me. I'm based in Finglas in Ireland, so he's quite well known in this neck of the woods. No boss music, which is very, very disappointing to me. You know, I've kind of become accustomed to epic boss music. But obviously I'm just playing this safe because I'm really low on health, so I'm just keeping on him and hoping we can move on. Doesn't have any special moves or anything like that. I don't even think he has as big a health pool as those guys in the elevator for whatever reason. He's down. Happy jumps. On to mission 2, where these two ladies just casually watch me dodging a knife attack and getting ambushed by these thugs. But yeah, so you do seem to get more points on Super Double Dragon, but basically I spoke to Raza briefly and John from Retro Projections, and they both basically told me that Return of Double Dragon is the more polished version, and for me, more importantly, it's just more forgiving, and was a lot more of a fun experience because of that. Enjoyed both, don't get me wrong, but if I had to choose between the two, it would definitely be Return of Double Dragon, which I play after this. So I had one round to get a high score on Super Double Dragon, and then for the rest of my attempts I focused on Return of Double Dragon. I did go on to complete both games though, so Raza should be proud of me for that. And they were quite fun. Another retro game under the belt, you know. I believe it was 92 or 93 this game was released, so it took me a long time to get around to it, alright. And now we have Billy's twin back again. He can do a pretty vicious spin kick. It's very, very rare that he hits me with it. Like, there you go. But if he does hit you with it, it devastates you. It can just kind of hit you 3 or 4 times in a row and do some big damage, you know. There isn't a massive amount of enemy variety, it must be said, but they are, you know, difficult enough that managing them, you know, can be a lot of fun. Like even the Blanca looking Street Fighter, there you go, I thought you were going to catch me with that kick. He's the most basic enemy, but if he catches you with like a 3-hit combo, it can take up 40% of your health. So it does keep it interesting that you can just mess up at any stage. And I quite like that, you know. Battling our way through the airport. Mission 2. Then we have this swashbuckler type who just brings 2 big badass swords to, you know, to the brawl. Why not? Ooh, Blanca is down. I very rarely kick in the game or grab, but I do really appreciate the, oh god, a little bit of a panic station with backing off and trying to... I've noticed that, you know, the hit detection and distance is so important in this game. That's why I opt for the punches and the brawling. You get close to them and you can, you know, combo them more often than not. But if you're just, you know, not pixel perfect, you can miss your last swing, and then that leaves you vulnerable where they can, you know, do some damage to you. And because this is a one life challenge, obviously each segment is important that it goes well, you know. And the health pool on these guys, like this fella just keeps getting back up. He gets knocked down and he gets up again. And I don't know if I'm ever gonna keep him down, to be honest with you. But yeah, I couldn't master the distance kick wise. There we go. Finish them off with kicks, as I said. But more often than not, when I kicked, I left myself a little bit exposed and was taking a lot more damage. So 90% of my tactics is is punching. And I feel that the power moves in Return of Double Dragon were a bit better, so I used them a bit more than I did here. Could have just been because this was quite early as well and I was still getting my bearings, but I just didn't use them an awful lot in Super Double. The bombs there can be dangerous because the flame kind of moves in the direction that you are, but if you just jump like crazy, I found you tend to avoid them. Just jump kick. You know, I'd beat 'em up wise. I do tend to use jump kicks a lot, but on this one I only ever use it if I'm really close to them like that, and you just want to kind of get a little bit of distance, you know. I believe this game, you know, it wasn't finished. That's the major issue with it, is that there was time constraints and the company was under, you know, financial pressure, and I think he went under, unfortunately. And you can really see that, you know, that there's no opening scene, there's no kind of, you know, coherent narrative or anything like that. There's just no cutscenes whatsoever. And it is a pity because it does have something about it, you know, that because you have that block system and the grab system and the special ability system, it's a bit more slower but more complex than your average, you know, beat 'em up. So I think you know, you can really appreciate what they were going for, and if they had have had the time and the budget, obviously, to do it the way they exactly want. Oh, these two are just amazing. These two just kicked my ass, to be honest. And look, I'm pure panic stations here, just trying to get away. But nonetheless, they actually finished me off in style. These are two champions. So they see me take down how many of their comrades, and boom. And he even gets two cheeky cheap shots in at me now. Watch, boom, boom. Oh, I added this clip just of a cock-up where I just, you know, a Raktak Duke and off into a pit. And then of course I'm starting my next run just to show that I'm playing it on normal mode, because Return of Double Dragon does have a normal, easy and hard mode. So I just showed that I was playing on normal, and this is my actual run where I get my highest score, you know. You can see that I'm a little bit more efficient, and you'll see that this is just a little bit more forgiving as well. For me anyway, definitely. I learned a few more tricks in this as well, you know. You can pick up weapons that you couldn't pick up in the other one. You don't get as high a score, and you have to get that little bit further in the game to get a higher score, of course. I don't bother jumping up on the phones now, I just go straight for the nunchuck guy. That's the main tactic. Whenever you see the nunchucks, get them and you'll just decimate every enemy, you know? Really good weapon. I like the staff too, don't get me wrong. And even the throwing weapons, the boomerang like your man has there. Good timing. And the knife, of course. But I noticed that you do not get any points for hitting them with throwing weapons. So I just disarm that fella, pick up the staff, and then I'll be able to manage them, pick them off with the staff. But yeah, I noticed that you weren't getting, they can be do a lot of damage to enemies, the knives, and knife in the friend, knife in the swashbuckler in the back. Bit harsh for my dodgy twin, eh? I'm doing the old Double Dragon dance there, the old shaky leg, shaky snaky leg. So as you can see, guys, I'm actually still on 100%, and now I'm going to try and do a Raktak Duken kick, and he's gone. Look at the difference in this, he's dead from that, and after one combo with the staff, he's also dead. So big difference in that regard. I'm doing the happy dance, as you do. And these guys are nerfed as well. These guys go down with one combo as well, I believe. So it's stuff like this that, you know, makes me prefer the Return of Double Dragon. There's little things as well that you could actually pick up the boomerang and use it and whatnot. I want that knife gold, yeah. There you go, thanks very much. But yeah, you should definitely take part, guys. It is a fun game, and it is a pity. It does have kind of a cult following, and a lot of people really don't like the game, you know, for various reasons. Mostly, I feel, just because it has that unfinished kind of feel to it. Maybe the difficulty. I found this was a funny little spot, by the way. Just if you stand here, the guys have to try and jump over the chair. So I just had a bit of a laugh and just kicked away. Yeah, it's not great tactically, you know. I've loads of health and stuff, and if I want to kill the enemies faster, you know, usually is that back punch combo that does the trick, you know. I'll just get rid of that knife, because, as I said. Oh, round 2, Seamus. Let's see how he does. Seamus and his ally. I use the specials a lot more, you know. Basically, if you hold down the button, you know, to like 40% or 30% of that red bar filling up, he does kind of a spinning fist attack that he does 2 to 3 times. If you let it go over the halfway mark, he does that kind of classic kick. Seamus is down. For shame, Seamus, for shame. And here we go, round 2, mission 2, I should say. But it really is a fun game if you just to play, you know, an attempt or two. That was my new tactic. Whenever I grabbed them accidentally, I hit them 2 or 3 times and then do a nice throw over the shoulder, you know. Right into the swashbuckler. As you can see, I have a much lower score at this stage in comparison to Super Double Dragon. But this was just a lot more fun overall, because I felt it was a little bit more forgiving, that little bit more polished, and you get that little bit further, which is always nice. There's the spin punch I was mentioning earlier. So yeah, there's a fairly lackluster, I suppose, variety of enemies, but they're dangerous. And I think that might have turned people off, but I can't really say, because as I said, I'm a complete rookie and novice to the Double Dragon series. But thanks to this, and thanks to Saberdual Gaming and Raza is Retro, because they mentioned to me, oh nice, and an uppercut, that it was actually for cheapest chips, it was on the PlayStation 4. So for less than €7, I think it was like €6.50, I got this game, both versions. I think it's for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. So really handy, because I don't often have access to retro games. That's why I don't participate in an awful lot of these challenges. But when they mentioned that, I had no excuse that if I had the time and energy, I'd definitely get a run in, you know. And here we are. Manifest reality. A self-fulfilling prophecy. The most boring prophecy of all. Oh, that went nice. He throws his bombs and he just gets that dude into oblivion. I wonder which came first. You know, is this kind of inspired by Street Fighter action, or was it the other way around? Who knows? I'm sure somebody does. Somebody from the retro gang. That's it. I just hit 3 times and then a nice throw. I'm not really actually sure how you grab them in this game. I think this guy gets me a little bit with the knife. Yeah, this is a bit of a tricky one now. Spicy. But it is a great game, as long as you don't get frustrated by, you know, it is one of those games that I really like, that you can, if you mess up on the 2nd or 3rd level and die, then obviously that's your attempt gone, and, you know, do another attempt that day or the next day. As long as you're a calm type of gamer, it's really fun just to try again and see if you can do that a little bit better, and, you know, do it a little bit more efficiently. I found these spin kicks were really effective on the double sword guy, more than most. Seamus is back with slightly different hair colour. He's back for revenge, but it didn't go well for him. we're on the strip now. We're on the airstrip, getting ready to take on the second boss. All going well. As you can see, you know, health is quite decent on the final stretch of this level, so it's going quite smooth at the moment. This is one of the more satisfying spin kick moments because you can actually catch two of those enemies when they drop down from the cargo holder. Didn't happen this time, but no worries. Nice swift sweep from him. But yeah, if you're a patient, if you don't get frustrated by, like, say, making it to level 3 or 4 and dying, because to me, I like that as part of the challenge, that if you mess up at any given time, that's your run over, you know? You have to go back and start again. So as long as that doesn't drive you crazy, you'll have a good time. And sure, even if there's no harm in even just giving it a once off, or, you know, 1 or 2 attempts and put your score in, because it's all fun at the end of the day, you know? But I may check out the rest of the Double Dragon, because when I was searching for this, I did see, I only glanced at it now, so don't quote me on it. Oh, second boss. He reminds me of Goyle a little bit from Street Fighter, you know? So we'll call him, especially if you're fighting him in a beside, you know, he has jets, I suppose, and that we're still fighting with a plane in the background. I'll call this guy Coyle. What do you think? He will be Goyle's second cousin once removed. Finished. Coyle is down. Farewell. We move on to mission 3, Chinatown. But it has a charm about it. You see, that was, yeah, I wanted that nunchucks, as mentioned before. And the system seems to be that 2 enemies will attack you at any given time, trying to corner you. And it can be a little bit frustrating, say, if the 3rd enemy has nunchucks and you want the nunchucks, but he's staying away from you, and the other 2 enemies are aggroing. A bit of a jig. So I just spin kicked to take that enemy out fast, so that would lure in the nunchuck guy, basically. Yeah, the nunchucks are amazing like this. I haven't come across an enemy that it just doesn't decimate, you know? This is a fun level. Really like this level, and of course, I always appreciate them when they put trophies in. A little bit of a happy dance. Let's dodge this knife. Spin kick that sword guy. Yeah. Nice and smooth. But I will be tempted to check out the rest of the Double Dragon series. That's what I was mentioning. Oh, Coyle is back, and he's miffed. This is funny as well. Do you see that chap there? He's clearly the retro man Randy Savage, isn't he? I don't know how he managed to get into this game, but he's definitely here. He's the absolutely spitting image of the retro man Randy Savage. Nice little cameo appearance. And because the Blanca fella who just died, because he's actually in green there, he looks even more kind of Blanca-esque. But they added an achievement in where if you actually kick that punching bag enough, it breaks, and that's a silver trophy, you know. I think I got 68 trophies. There's no platinum for it, and I thought the retro games don't have platinums, but they get, you know, some gold trophies, silver trophies, bronze trophies. So I always appreciate it, just kind of playing through and getting the trophies, what trophies I could, you know. The ones I didn't go for were like get 50 grabs and blocks and stuff like that, and I just didn't play that way, so I'm happy enough leaving them. Yeah, I'm quite tempted to check out the other Double Dragons. I did see there was cheap and cheerful Double Dragons for the PlayStation 4 as well on there, so, you know, if I get some time and energy on my oh, the 2 of them are down, nice. Now, here's the 3rd boss, 2 of them. The twin Chinamen, we call them. You got here very well, but look at that. They took no time in humbling me a little bit there. Try and get that distance right where you can actually connect with the two of them. And you see when they start blocking, that's their kind of, that's when you do your bit of dodge brawling, because they tend to block 2 or 3 times and then they'll hit you with a quick jab or, you know, middle kick, which isn't ideal at all. They can be quite troublesome, these two, to be honest. Probably the most boss-like of that we've come across so far. We have some funky kicks and punches. There's 2 of them, so you have to kind of navigate both. And they are down. Nice. But then oddly, they throw 2 last sword guys at you in this level. Spin kick 1, and just dispatch the other fella. The other ginger, the other crimson warrior, handy enough. And that is the end of mission 3, guys. Mission 4 is quite cool. You jump on the top of that container on the truck, and you know, this thing can go so wrong for you. This is one of these parts that can mess up, because obviously the draft and the wind, and you're being pulled to the left basically because of the speed of the truck. It drags the enemy. See that, just like that. It drags the enemies away from you if you're striking them to the left. There's also a lot of knife guys at the start. Look, the other fella come up with a knife as well. So if you're not paying attention to the knife people, they can stealthily do some damage to you here, you know. But yeah, when the enemies are drifting away on the left, they can kind of drift out of your hitbox, and then they'll hit you with a kick or a punch, and it can be quite frustrating. Twinning. But it does have a charm to it. Now I'm sure, you know, people like Raza and John, I believe John actually mentioned that beat 'em ups as his favourite video game genre. And he's no problem sitting down and playing them for a very long time, finds them a lot of fun. So it'd be interesting that he would be a lot, you know, more of a veteran and would be able to compare this to, I'm sure, an awful lot more beat 'em ups than I could. But I appreciate what they were trying to do in this game, and it does have a charm to it. So it is one of those where it's a big pity that he didn't get to finish it the way they actually envisioned, you know. That's the end of that. Nice crash. I don't know why the driver crashed, if there even is a driver. This is pretty cool. Look, the guy with the ponytail is the last boss, and the kind of Arnold Schwarzenegger looking guy with the shades is the second last boss. So you get to see them just leg it off. And this clown, who I punched and kicked a few times there, who's slowly making a great escape, he ends up being the boss of the 5th level, I believe. So I got knifed there, so I'm being a bit cautious, ducking and dodging. Didn't even know you could throw those barrels until that moment, but again, it's classed as a throwing weapon, so I think it just doesn't give you any points. And in a high score challenge, that's not, you know, really recommended. So I'd recommend you know, punches, kicks, hand weapon attacks more often than not. That went smooth. Happy jump. On to mission 5, I believe. Yeah. These 3 are interesting. These 3 seem to have a massive health pool. You just, you know, refuse to stay down, which can happen at you know, different points in the game. This is also one of these. This level 5, guys, is quite long, I find, anyway. So it's important here. You'll see when I get a little bit further down the road that the nunchucks show up again, and I want them ASAP because there's a few tough enemies just around the corner. So, you know, you'll see what I do just to get the nunchucks, and because it's with the nunchucks, any segment where there is a weapon like that, use it, and you know, you're guaranteed to hold on to your health, get a decent amount of points, and beat the enemies relatively handily. So on long levels like this, it's very important. Oh, Seamus is back in a slightly different coloured suit and hair again, eh? Keeping us on our toes. They caught me with a nice jumping heel kick there, to be fair. Sometimes it can actually happen where you're caught in a bit of a loop where you connect with the first two punches but not the uppercut because the enemy ducks, and you just get a lot of points for it. So I want to spin kick into this. Yeah, I want to spin kick him and grab the nunchucks, and should see us through this part. Commander Coyle is back again, back for revenge. I don't think it's going to go that well for him because I have the old nunchucks. But we admire his enthusiasm, definitely. Fair play to you, Coyle. Good man. A little bit of a happy dance. 90% health, I feel. I want that fella's knife gone. Not sure if I mentioned as well that on the bombs that you do just jump. If you're ever in a tight situation where the bomb blows up and it's relatively close to you, if you jump and kick, more often than not I find you can avoid it, you know? Coyle is back. That was a quick recovery, eh? So yeah, I mean, you know, if for example, you have to be careful because sometimes the screen scrolls with you and then won't allow you to go back. So if for example I didn't have the nunchucks, those fights become a lot more complicated. So it really is good practice to make sure that you have it and don't let it fall out of screen, you know? But I do highly recommend you give this a go, you know. I was adamant to give it a go just because it was such a game that Raza has an awful lot of fond memories of. I believe both him and Shan enjoyed this title, you know. But I haven't actually played co-op on it yet. You play as the other brother, which I don't even know his name, truth be told. Hopefully I'll learn a little bit more as time goes on. But I'm pretty sure I'm playing as a dude called Billy. I like his denim, stylish denim. Denim is a cotton derivative, you know, so always animal friendly. Oh, that knife to the thigh. I specifically did that spin kick in order to try and disarm that fella. And what does he do? He just casually sidesteps me and, you know, daggers me. Which wasn't the best timing because we're coming into a boss fight. So here we have the clown. The clown is back, which is pretty cool. I like that he made a swift getaway. And now he's back now with a vengeance. What should we call this guy? Sweet Tooth, Pennywise, Krusty, Doink. Maybe I'll make a poll. So because I'm on low health here, guys, I'm really playing it safe with this. I'm just trying to slowly take these guys down, you know. And try and use this to your advantage, you know. If you can, oh wow, that was one hell of a haymaker. I just grabbed him by the head and planted him. But similar to what I was doing on the first level, when you stood at the chair and the guys had to try and jump over. If I can stay on these boxes, if I can get rid of the Crimson Warrior there, I intend on staying on the box. That's a pretty cool spin, isn't it? One of the more funky moves from one of the bosses. But this is pretty much game over now for Sweet Tooth, because I'm just going to stand here and practice my high kicks. And of course, whenever he jumps up, I'm just So I'm going right back down again, playing it safe, hoping to get into mission 6. There's only 7 missions in the game, and the last mission is quite different on both of them. Same stage, but it's much longer on Return of Double Dragon. So if you guys can make it to the last level, you will rack up so many points. Sweet Tooth is down. We roll into mission 6. Second last level, so I'm very happy with that. And it's also the level where I messed up and, you know, spin kicked or racked that group and into the bottomless pit, you know. I do like this level though, the forest theme. You know, I enjoy forests here in Ireland. I enjoy hill walking and nature walking and stuff like that. So it's probably not surprising. It's one of my more favourite levels. Quite short, I think. This one. So I'm a little bit rattled because I know what happened the last time, you know. So I think I do go for a spin kick here, but I make sure that I'm up the top. This guy with the boulder had me a bit rattled as well, you know. Being a Resident Evil fan, you stay away from boulders, you know they can be potentially lethal. Yet another nice little throwing weapon, I suppose. No harm in that. But yeah, I'd say this would be a lot of fun in co-op. I can't actually hear the audio, but I know that I can hear that guy swinging the sword because I remember it well. And he rattled me a little bit with that big berserker dance and stance that he had there, you know. Tempted to try and knock him into the hole. I don't actually think you can knock enemies even in this one into the hole, which is, you know, obviously we're more familiar with Streets of Rage and Golden Axe where you could do that. Oh, nice. So that wasn't ideal and I was a bit rattled, so I wanted to de-knife your man and bam. That's one of the first things. It's the only time in this run where I hit someone with a knife, and that was just because I'm such low health that I just wanted to survive as long as I could, and I was more than happy getting into the old 600k there. Don't think I'll play again, you know. Ooh, that was bad. I think I'll leave it at this. It's going to be quite busy in this neck of the woods, but maybe I'll be inspired to do another run, but I think most likely this will be it. Now I'm going to try and spin kick my way over this little gap because of the wibbly wobbly stairs. Panels, I should say. So this is going to be the end, guys. Look who's back. Coyle is back with a vengeance, and he dispatches me with a whopper uppercut KO. I love yous and leave yous. Look after yourselves and each other. Be kind to all coins, and slán a bhaile.